We're thrilled to report that FTC Chair Lina Khan is continuing to kick ass and take names. And in this case, she's specifically looking out for ordinary Americans who have been saddled with ridiculous junk fees. Now, these are the hidden charges that make booking a hotel or buying tickets for live shows and flights sneakily pricier and actually a little more time consuming for Americans. And so she's doing something about it. So those fees actually end up costing Americans a pretty penny. Here are some numbers from Lina Khan herself. She notes that whether you're paying a hotel bill, renting an apartment, buying a concert ticket, or ordering dinner online, the FTC estimates that Americans collectively pay tens of billions of dollars a year in junk fees. That's billions of dollars that working families are paying in worthless fees, money that corporations are extracting from Americans just because they can. And here's some more helpful context from the Associated Press. So Lael Brainerd, who's the director of the White House National Economic Council, said research indicates that hidden fees can cause consumers to pay as much as 20% more than they had known the total cost up front and comparison shopped. So I love that they're doing something about this because I've noticed that in recent years, a lot of hotels will do this annoying resort fee thing, right? Where like you'll log into Orbitz or whatever you use to book a hotel and you think the price is the price. Then you show up and all of a sudden it's like, okay, yes, that'll be another $150 because they'll have, I don't know, $30 a night for their resort fee, and it drives me nuts. Now, I've become accustomed to that now, so I know to expect it, but then there are a bunch of other hidden fees that I'm not so savvy about. And so Taylor, you produced this story. You're a bit of an expert on it now. So tell me what you think and what you've experienced.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think where this story really blew up and where I have experienced it, I don't go to live music that often, but I do enough to know about the Ticketmaster and Live Nation fees thing that happened. The Taylor Swift concert really blew this whole story up, and remarkably, I think, got Ticketmaster and Live Nation to say, hey, we're actually gonna stop doing this voluntarily, which is crazy. But I do really appreciate the Biden administration doing what they can, especially Lina Khan. Like, no, it's not $15 minimum wage, but it does make a substantial difference in people's lives. I mean, the numbers are pretty crazy when you look at how much of a difference it makes. So I'll take it, and I really, really appreciate Lina Khan because she's an all-star.
You know, she's doing a great job, and I mean, it is true that Live Nation, after facing some pressure, decided to change their business practices. But and it does remind me of when Bernie Sanders was applying pressure to Amazon in regard to their wages, and then they decided to increase their the company minimum wage to $15 an hour. But it's also good to actually have regulations in place because not every company is gonna do the right thing. Kate, you go to a lot of live shows, so I'm sure that those additional fees, the junk fees, are super annoying and costly.
Oh yes, oh yes. I know all too well about the junk fees from my concert experiences. It's unbearable. I mean, especially on like the secondhand sites, like your StubHub, your Vivid Seats, it'll give you the ticket price and you'll think, oh, that's lower than on the other websites. And then you'll go to the cart and it's like $55 fee, surprise.
Totally.
And it drives me crazy. I'm sure it drives a lot of people crazy. So I'm super happy to see this. Even though it doesn't mean there's not gonna be fees, at least you'll know what they are up front.
That's right. Yeah, no, I'm glad you mentioned that because this isn't just like, so what they're trying to do here is force these companies to make clear what the actual cost is. So if there are fees, you should know what they are up front instead of being surprised by it later on. In fact, a lot of people who are a little savvier, they know that there are hidden fees, will kind of go out of their way to figure out what those fees are. And it's so difficult to find the details about those fees that people waste a lot of time searching for them. So the FTC estimates that consumers waste 50 million hours each year searching for the total price for tickets and lodging. The time saved in those two categories because of the rule would be the equivalent to about $1 billion annually. Look, that seems like a pretty strong claim, and I really don't know how to fact check that claim. But I can say that, even something as, this doesn't really fall in the category of junk fees, but there are all sorts of fees that you pay in your retirement account, right? It is impossible to find what those fees are. It is so hard to find it, right? So I love what the FTC is doing. I hope that they maybe expand this to impact retirement accounts, 401ks, IRAs, things like that. But overall, I think the biggest benefit of the Biden administration has been Lina Khan as the head of the FTC. It's been the makeup of the NLRB that has actual fighters on behalf of labor. These are things that I feel like the Biden administration should be campaigning on and bragging about. But a lot of Americans don't know about this stuff. Like, I just don't think Biden's done a good job marketing some of his wins and some of his accomplishments. What do you think about that, Kate?
Yeah, what I love the most about Lina Khan is that she's kind of like the silent killer. Like, she's super effective. I love people like that who are just quiet and get their jobs done well, and don't like make a big deal about it. But the downside of that is that almost nobody knows about her. So people don't know that these great things are happening behind the scenes. I would never know who she was if I didn't, work on this show, obviously. But I can say that, we see depressing, bad stories all the time. And Lina Khan is like the one person who, if I see her name pop up, I'm like, yes, this is gonna be a good story. And I know she's doing something good. So I think there's, benefits and downsides to being quiet about doing your job well.
Well, I think part of the issue, not an issue with Lina Khan, but part of the issue that she and the Biden administration is facing is you rarely hear positive coverage of her.
Yeah.
But the negative coverage of her, that's pretty much what the coverage is, other than like us.
Totally, no, it's so true. The US Chamber of Commerce despises her. In fact, they despise this rule, and they've already put out statements about it. Here's Neil Bradley, Executive Vice President and Chief Policy Officer of the US Chamber of Commerce. The reality is this attempt at price controls, it's not a price control, it's just disclosing what the fees are up front so people aren't lied to. But anyway, he calls it price controls. Will only stifle the innovation that leads to more choices and lower prices for consumers. What? The chamber urges the administration to reverse course. We need a government that is focused on holding accountable those who defraud consumers, not those, or not one focused on micromanaging the economy. Now, Neil Bradley, of course, is representative of business interests who want to withhold information from consumers about the junk fees and not be upfront and forthright about them. But that's the reality of the situation. And those are the types of voices that are uplifted in corporate media, right? The CNBCs 100%. Of the world despise Lina Khan because they represent the best interests of the business community. I think consumers deserve to know what the actual price is up front, and that is what the FTC is trying to accomplish here. So more power to Lina Khan. I hope this goes through. There's gonna be a commenting period, and then after that, I'm hoping that it'll be officially implemented. I think that it would be a huge benefit to US consumers.